There's no way. I mean, you can't look at that game, watch that game, and say anything other than great job, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You feel they legit after this?
I do not.
No.
I don't think that they could do well in the playoffs.
Colorado?
Yeah, I think they will get there on the back end. I do. I said this before the season, and this is the thing. Because I thought they would get off to a really good start, similar to what they did last year, but maybe even finish it off at maybe lose 2 or 3 games. Maybe lose 2 games maximum because the schedule is so weak. But we're going to look at it as they keep winning, and we're going to build them up just like they did last year.
Their only loss was out of conference.
Yeah.
Right.
So, they're tracking have a chance to win their league.
Yeah.
And
that's going to be huge for the
pathway
playoffs.
into getting the playoffs, presumably.
Yeah. And even if they lose the league, if they still have a good showing.
That's where I have a difference of opinion with you. I don't think that league is strong enough that if they don't win it, they're not going to get in.
Yeah, they have to. I agree. They got to win it.
They got to win it to get in.
So Deion came to Orlando. All right, Deion in Colorado, and put their foot in UCF's rear end, and had a good old time doing it, and tore the city up. They bought some stars here, and they went out that night and all that type of stuff. And now after that big win, they're 4-1. All right, their season outlook looks a little different. People are calling for Deion to be Coach of the Year now, early Coach of the Year candidate. And what's funny is, so we put out, our podcast, we put out these clips, shorter clips on like TikTok, YouTube, and stuff like that. And anytime we put something out on Deion, they'd be attacking us. All we did last week was talk about the opportunity for UCF to come in, maybe beat a Colorado team, and next week play a Gators team, and all of a sudden UCF can be looked at as a real fucking college football team.
Yeah,
and they had that opportunity if they didn't wet the bed. That's all we said now.
They didn't just wet it.
That's the truth.
They left some turds in there too.
But in the midst of it, we got people all in our comments, after the game, like, what now? What do you have to say now? You guys were wrong. Where are you at now? Comment, reply back. What's up now? Yeah, Deion, Colorado, yeah. I'm like, man, well, we didn't say, we're not shitting on Deion. We're just talking about.
And I literally said in the clip, and I'm not saying this is going to happen,
yeah.
But if it does.
That was the game UCF needed on a national level to put themselves up, because
that was literally the point I was making, because you had a national audience in that game. If you win it and look good, and then if you went up to Florida next week and beat them, you really are on the map in a significant way. They shit the bed. They're not on the map anymore. And to me, that was the best two-way performance Deion has had at Colorado. Offense, defense, complete game, played well, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because really the other signature win was the TCU win, but that was like a shootout. We knew their defense was terrible that game.
Right.
Like, they couldn't stop or slow them down in any way. This, they got some stops, they got some turnovers.
They played great football.
They played great football.
They did. And UCF, they got yards, and they were still able to run the ball, but they got Colorado got the crucial stops at the point where they needed to get them, whether it was fourth down stops or red zone stops or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's what was good about that.
Yeah.
But, it's still UCF, because maybe UCF is just not prepared for that stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They still had good athletes. They got a couple of pro athletes that's projected.
They got some guys going to get drafted now.
Yeah. It was a great win for Colorado.
But it's still a great win for Colorado.
No doubt about it.
And
I mean, there's no way. I mean, you can't look at that game, watch that game, and say anything other than great job, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
You feel they legit after this?
I do not.
No.
I don't think that they could do well in the playoffs.
Colorado?
Yeah, I think they will get there on the back end. I do. I said this before the season, and this is the thing. Because I thought they would get off to a really good start, similar to what they did last year, but maybe even finish it off at maybe lose 2 or 3 games. Maybe lose 2 games maximum, because the schedule is so weak. But we're going to look at it as they keep winning, and we're going to build them up just like they did last year. Because of the.
But they had a tough schedule last year, though.
Much tougher than they did this year. You know what I mean?
And their only loss was out of conference.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're tracking have a chance to win their league.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that's going to be huge for the playoffs.
Pathway into getting the playoffs, presumably.
Yeah. And even if they lose the league, if they still have a good showing,
that's where I have a difference of opinion with you. I don't think that league is strong enough that if they don't win it, they're not going to get in.
Yeah, they have to. I agree. They got to win it.
They got to win it to get in.
But I think they have they have athletes, man, that can really shock the world if they get on that platform.
That's what I'm saying. Because first, it's a committee. you know, that's the thing. So
there will be some commercial purposes to have Colorado in the playoffs.
There you go. If they're even, somewhat.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
In the mix.
But it's not a dominant team out there that we can say, like years past, it's a dominant team, 2 or 3 dominant teams that it can separate the landscape too much. Things are kind of bunched in together right now.
It's not, but like if they were to match up with these teams, I don't think they'll be able to survive, man. Whether it's Alabama or Georgia, or whether it's Ohio State, or whether it's, I don't think they're that team is set
just
up
not
to
on
compete.
that level.
Yeah,
no, they'll get smashed.
I just don't think so.
So
that's what I'm saying. Even if they do make the playoffs, I think they have a chance to do so, we'll really see what they're made of once they do that. Now they do, for what it's worth. They got. I saw their schedule. They got 2 ranked teams left on their schedule. You know what I mean? One, man, and it's acting a little slow, but I think it's is it Nebraska?
No, they lost.
They lost to Nebraska. They got 2. They got 2 left, man. Hold on, I'm finna bring it up now. Hold on, I got their schedule right now. Matter of fact, so one is one ranked team is Kansas State at 20. They're ranked 20th, and that's the next game.
Yeah.
Okay.
As they're going to be home to Kansas State, and the other is Utah at 18.
Okay.
So you got the 20th ranked team and the 18th ranked team. So we'll see what happens when they play those guys.
But the problem that you're going to have is if you make it into the playoff, it'll probably be in the 9 to 12 position.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the top 4 are going to be the Big 4 conference champions, and then the next couple teams are going to be
SEC runner-up.
Yeah, SEC runner-up. The second SEC runner-up. It's got maybe you have Texas in there, and you have Alabama, Georgia. Tennessee. Good luck, Colorado, because you're going to get skull.
I'm going to throw my Hurricanes in there, man, too.
Well, if they win the ACC, they'll probably be that top 4.
Yeah.
But they're not that good.
Ooh,
Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They barely beat
But don't call me back up, man. No, man.
They're not.
They solid, man. They great
solid.
team. They great
solid.
team.
I mean, I take a solid dump. I mean,
we a great team.
That's not this measure.
When you have a great quarterback, you can make things happen.
You cannot call your team solid and great 8 seconds apart.
We great.
You ain't great. You ain't great. I can assure you.
Who's a great team in college football this year, though?
Right now, this year,
a great team.
Texas, Alabama, and Ohio State and Georgia.
I don't know about Alabama.
Come on, man.
I don't know about Alabama being a great team.
They answered the bell on Saturday.
Texas.
That's the same thing Miami Hurricanes did. We've been dominating everybody. We answered the bell against Virginia Tech.
If you invite Georgia down to your house, all your women and children get raped.
Man, but the key thing I like, when we talk about Colorado is the fact that it can be a shootout. I don't think Colorado can be a defensive stopper against those teams, but can those teams stop Shedeur when he gets time? 3 seconds, all he needs.
But
he
ain't going to get time
against those elite defenses.
Not against Bama and Georgia and Texas.
Yeah, those type teams are
at least
not
those
getting
teams.
Time.
But you'll have.
I mean, Nebraska gave you a taste of it, and they're not that good.
Yeah.
Nebraska was rough on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll
I think it's a different Colorado team we seen Saturday.
Definitely different than last year. I mean, they made improvements. They definitely made improvements. And for what it's worth, Deion put them in a position, man. The boys just got to go out there and execute and see what happens from there. But they're going to be in position.
Let's see if it's legit against K-State this Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be another good one to watch and look at.
It will be big because, that was a big, impressive road win for them.
It was.
Now, do you come back, no hangover, locked in, focused, and know what you're doing? And that's the thing. Like, good teams, like those aren't even questions or issues. Like you get to a point when you're good where you are locked in.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you're playing.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you're playing. Like your routine, what you do, your prep is just locked in, and none of the external stuff matters.
Right.
I don't know if they're there yet, but we'll find out a little bit on Saturday.
Right.
For sure. All right, now over to the NFL here, man. Like I said earlier, we have some wide receivers that potentially on the move. You got Devontae Adams requesting a trade out of Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, him and the coach, they've been at odds all year for different reasons or whatever. And then you got Tyreek. He posted this morning. I believe that's on Twitter. He said, woke up to trade news, exciting. What you think about it? Because everybody said if Tyreek was to get traded, could possibly be back to Kansas City. They'll have to give up a couple of things to make it work.
Yeah, but again, with the Rashawn Rice injury, there's a new urgency in Kansas City to make a move in the wide receiver area. What's the latest on Brown? Is there any optimism he returns anytime soon?
Not anytime soon.
So yeah, you really gotta probably shake it up a little bit. Part of this though is like I watched the Receivers show. I think you partly did. Devontae Adams is not a particularly likable guy. He really emanated some bitch vibes for me. No doubt about it. But that's the reputation of a lot of receivers. And if you look at the position of receiver, the biggest problem you have is you are dependent on so many other people to get to do what it is that you do well. If your team can't protect, you don't get to run your route tree and get the catches you want to get. If you have a bad quarterback, which both of these guys now have, you can't get the ball.
Yeah.
You can't get it in the way that you want to get it. They can desperately throw some bubble screens and whatever just so you have touches. But like a gifted receiver, I mean, Devontae Adams, his gift is in route running.
Right.
And that's down the field and, letting those routes evolve. You got to have protection, and you got to have a guy that can make those throws. Tyreek Hill, same. His gift is the downfield stuff. And you got to have a quarterback that can deliver that. So their career is, in a way, kind of like on the line. And the longer they stay in a situation without the elements necessary for their success, it's wasted time.
But it's funny to me that this coming up so early in the season within the time that we just discussed Kansas City and their injuries. So are they making a ploy for Kansas City to bring them in?
Yeah. I mean, I would be sending out the bat signal. Rescue me. I would. I mean, because and that's that thing, like, who doesn't want to play with a great quarterback?
Correct.
Like, for the exact reason I was just talking about. You want to go play with a guy that can deliver you the ball.
Right.
And let you, be you. I mean, there's a thing like talking to somebody the other day, like when you're a good player in a bad environment, you just kind of have to like do everybody's job and make shit work. But football receiver does not allow you to do that. And so you really have to be very aware of the situation you're signing on to play.
Right.
And because that's going to define what you can do.
But we just talked about last week about how Kansas City kind of built this team around Mahomes, where they allocated a lot of the salary cap to the defense and offensive line. You know what I mean? And just say, hey, I'm going to give you a rookie receiver. I know you got an old tight end, and we'll just give you some spare parts at receiver. Even Rashee Rice is only in his second year, so he hasn't gotten paid yet. So that's how we're going to build his team. Now, to get Tyreek, you're going to kind of have to –
Worthy right behind him.
Yeah. If you get Tyreek, you're going to have to kind of go against that ideology. You're going to have to give up some pieces, possibly on defense, guys that's, to try to give up some salary to bring Tyreek back. Do you do that?
Yeah,